Hi and welcome to The Repairman. This is where we take unloved and unwanted tools and bring them back to life.
I'm a repairman. I'm a repairman.
Oh, So in this episode, we're looking at the most common generic tool of all, which is the ball peen hammer. So to start off, we're going to strip down the actual hammer head, we're going to remove the old shaft, and we're going to take off all the rust, clean up the faces, and then reshaft it. You might need a drill, you'll need an awl, you'll need, sadly, another hammer, and maybe a punch. So what I'm doing now is I'm just making a center point of where we're going to be drilling our hole through. And don't forget your safety glasses. So now what we've done is made a little bit of clearance around the actual head itself. Now we're going to try and knock this through this side. Just like that. So there's lots of ways to remove rust from an old tool like this. For today, I'm going to be using the angle grinder. So we've wire wheeled all the outside of the hammerhead. We can actually see that it is a £1.5 hammer now. It's still in quite bad condition, so we've got lots of cracks on the front, a bit of missing material that we're going to be able to grind that off, but still make sure that we've got plenty of nice material onto the front. We've got a bit of an inside that we're going to clean up. This is where all the dirt, dust and grime gets into. So with just a little cordless drill and a little wire brush on there, you can clean up the inside of this. So the face of a hammer is very, very important. For this, we're going to have it quite a high polish. So any marks in here, especially if you're doing thin sheet metal, you're going to leave indentations and imperfections within the material. I want to be able to clean this up and then polish this face. And to do this, ideally, you're going to be using an angle grinder. Now pretty much done. There's a bit of an optional extra, if you like. We're going to just polish the faces up, and we can use some metal polish just to really clean up those faces, and we're going to get a nice clean surface like this. It's still really hard. So we're on to the next stage now, which is going to be reshafting the hammer head. We usually use ash, which is a local timber. So we can cut this down and then make a shaft out of this. We're going to be measuring what's a comfortable size of hammer. Now there's no real right or wrong way of doing this. I'm just going to copy one that I did earlier. So we want an overall length of around 14 inches, around 360 millimeters. And you can do this with a tenon saw, a chop saw, or if you're feeling hungry, you can use your teeth. Now I always leave an extra inch at the top because we're going to be shaping the top of this after we've made a split cut, which I'll explain a little bit more into detail a bit later on. So just add an inch to everything that you do. So we're going to cut this down now to here. Quick tip, we are going to be copying the inside face of this, and to do that I've modified a pencil so it's got a really, really sharp little face on the side here, so that way that we can get right up into the edge. You don't need fancy tools for this. So now what we've got is a rough shape of where we need to start cutting down. I'm going to be using one of these tools, which is called a draw knife. This is quite a traditional tool, but you can really remove some material very quickly with this. Okay, so it's been a little bit of a while, just trying up the fitment now. So you want these nice and tight. You're not going to be using the mallet to hit the top of the hammer because you'll run the risk of damaging this. So we always flip it round, upside down and hit from above. A little bit more, and we want no gaps around these cheek parts here. And on to the next stage now, which is splitting the wedge. So I'm using a marking knife, just like so, just bang down the middle, and I'm going to be using a pull saw. So it's been a little time, quite a lot of time, and this is pretty much our roughed out handle now. The next part is we're going to be putting the wedge into the top to then mushroom out the top of the shaft to then clamp this in. And what I like to do is just rub a little bit of methylated spirits on the bottom of this, and then I'm going to use some linseed oil. So this is going to dampen, get into the fibres of the wood, and then expand it when this is in. Try not to get it everywhere. Important thing with this, it's not a race. So you can see now that the head is starting to open up and fill in all the gaps around the top of the shaft. That's it. We've got a little bit of a breakage on the top, but we're going to be trimming this down so it's nice and flush with the top of the head anyway. Okay, so we're on to the final stage now. We're going to be putting on some raw linseed oil. Now ash does take quite a lot, so you're going to use quite a bit of your seed oil. And this is one of the finishes that you can just keep applying as well. And there we have it, a completely restored, reshafted by hand ball peen hammer. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below of what you want to see us do next time. We're On The Tools and I am the repairman.
I'm a repairman.